Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel. Now y'all knew this moment was coming. Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev, the rematch, part 2, and this is the Realest breakdown. I'm going to give you guys a quick disclaimer and I'll jump right into it. If you are not a fan of the truth and me giving my honest thoughts, click off the video because this is not the video for you. I'm going to give my complete unadulterated thoughts, and I was there live at the fight just like I was at the first fight, and give you my thoughts and kind of run down. And I got back to Cali earlier today. I took a nap, so I'm fully refreshed, if you will. The Vegas heat is ridiculous, very dry, very humid, and I even took notes on my phone of like just cliff notes and bullet points so I could cover everything in this video. A lot of people had questions and wanted my take on it. First of all, shout out to Andre Ward for his victory, and I thought it was a very impressive one, right? Shout out to Kovalev, just simply, I'll give him credit just for taking the rematch. It was everything on the line in this particular fight. There was some controversy to some in the first fight, and you got to give credit to both fighters for doing that. They risked their reputations here, because I told you guys in the build up to this fight, this is not a fight that either guy is going to want to lose, and that was very evident in the post fight, which we're going to get to all that. We're going to get to the alleged drama, which is really not a drama, and I'm not even going to start with that because the low blows and alleged controversy, I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to disrespect the sport of boxing like that by trying to take this down. I will talk about it, but I'm not going to start with that, and I'm just going to address everything. Like I said, I got notes on my phone and we could jump right into it, but I'm not going to disrespect Andre Ward's performance by trying to slight it, making some conspiracy theory and Tony Weeks, Black Panther Party, or whatever people are saying in the comment section reason why Kovalev lost, because I'm gonna actually tell you guys why he lost from my view from the fight through talking about boxing. Now, this is the other thing. Not everybody can do what I do, and I'm not putting myself on a pedestal, and I'm not even trying to pull rank here. But this is a fact, and this is a reason. I told you guys in January of this year, I said I'm going full throttle. I've been doing this. This has been my full-time job for a minute, and we got to grow the sport of boxing. 2017 has been phenomenal in terms of boxing. Just good action fights, meaningful fights, things like that. And not everyone respects that. A lot of people play politics and favorites and different stuff like that. We're going to get through all of that and talk about boxing, and I got to talk about HBO's commentary. We're gonna just buckle up, man. This is gonna be a fun ride. But let's start right back here. And see, this is the thing. This is the difference between some of me, and like I said, I don't have to pull rank. You guys know what it is. You guys see the numbers. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And this is precisely why some channels stagnate when it comes to growing. And I'm trying to throw you guys a bone. If you tell the truth, if you're honest, then you basically have a better shot at this thing. You know what I mean? But not everyone wants to do that. People want to cry foul and make up stuff and just crazy stuff. And the funny thing about that is, before, and I know I'm not going to, I told you guys I wasn't going to let the parasites own the beginning of this video, but funny thing about that real quick is this. Like, look at the channels, look at the writers that put out the exact opposite of what I'm saying, and other people who are trying to call this boxing thing fair, right? They should be doing great because they're saying the exact opposite of me. So if that's what y'all want to hear, I don't do that. Like Pac said, I speak from the heart, I'm real, my big mouth. And the great thing is, at the end of the month, my check says Google/YouTube. So ain't nobody can do anything. No one can do anything. I could speak my mind and I have no problem. In fact, I'm not even worried about it because I speak with respect. But I make more money when I don't cover fights. I do that as a service to the fan base, to the people. But fights cost money, you know what I mean? Hotels and airfare, lodging, and all that. That costs money. I could do this from home and make money. People check out my prediction videos and tell of the tapes and stuff like that. But I'm just trying to give you guys a real sense of what this is, right? And it's just so funny because, like I said, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, right, you're biased ego. And this is the thing, when it comes to being biased, right? How are you gonna say somebody's biased if what they told you actually comes true, right? So would you blame the weatherman, the meteorologist, if he says, hey, it's gonna be mostly cloudy with chances of showers and lightning and thunderstorms in this area, and then you walk outside and you see rain, you see thunderstorms, etc.? Is he biased? Does he only like, oh, you're just biased, you just like cold weather? That doesn't even make sense. It's not. How is it biased when the person is saying what's going to happen and they actually turn out to be right? Meanwhile, you got people who are saying Ward was going to get knocked out in the rematch and yada yada yada, these different things, and your predictions are the furthest thing from the truth. You said Kovalev was going to start off where he left and all that, but I digress. Let's get into it, and we're going to talk about everything. Now, this is the other thing. When it comes to the fight game, there's a lot of people, even in the media. I go to these events, and there's a lot of people, they don't know what they're watching. They don't really know boxing. I was sitting next to someone, they were on their phone, and they were telling me Kovalev was winning, but they weren't really watching the fight. You know what I mean? They were on the phone doing whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not in that person's business. So you can't really do that. I really watch boxing. Like, I put my phone down. I do in between round by round tweets, which you're going to see on the screen. Look at the time steps. These are live. These are when the rounds are going, and I'm giving you guys quick feedback, and I got to hurry up because I only got a minute in between rounds to write it out. And this is the thing. I'm not perfect. I always learn stuff in this game. But you look at my commentary in between fights. You listen to HBO, minus Roy Jones, who does an exceptional job. Shout out to my dude Roy Jones. And you listen to HBO, they'll lead you astray. They'll have you feeling you're watching some completely different fight. I seen this coming, and you'll be able to tell. Again, go look at the timestamps. This video is recorded live. You guys can go to my Twitter feed. You can see the timestamps. These are in between the rounds while I'm texting this on the West Coast time, so all the timestamps match up. And let's get into it. So, being there live at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, I said, Ward looked calm but aggressive in round one. Good body shots, which turned out to be very important. Outworking Sergey Kovalev. Kovalev showed a very good jab second half of the round, right? So in the last stanza, let's say last 40 seconds or whatnot, right? He had a good jab. And Kovalev has an exceptional jab, which we'll talk a little bit more about, right? And some of the people who say kind of the opposite of what I say, they don't even do that. They won't even say show Ward. If you love Kovalev and you were rooting for him, you're not gonna say Ward showed a very good jab or very good anything. You'll be like, oh, Ward slapping with his punches and stuff like that. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. I told y'all, man. Tell the truth. 8:23. Some rough stuff. Good action. Round two. Both working. Sergey, beautiful jab. Barely missing with the 1-2. Ward suppresses Kovalev's momentum, which turned out to be a huge factor in this fight. And I'm going to expand on that and let you know what I mean. But the best punch from Kovalev to me was his jab. And it was the thing that was intriguing about this fight. We know Kovalev has power, and he has pretty good timing too. I've seen him trying to land the 1-2. He would throw the left, and then he comes down with this chopping right? And some of those were barely missing. And if it weren't a credit to Ward's defense and ring IQ, that second chopping punch could have sat Ward down, right? So that fights like this are always fun because it's a high-speed chess match, if you will, where we know Kovalev, he's going to be dangerous, especially early. We know he's going to be dangerous. And like I said, some of those 1-2s, the second punch was barely getting by and whizzing by Ward. You know what I mean? So one false move. That's why I give credit to guys like Floyd Mayweather and Andre Ward, because at the end of the day, what they miss and make look easy, it's not easy if you're in there. Because like I said, Kovalev's a talented fighter. Guys like Pacquiao, they're talented fighters. So a lesser fighter is not going to be able to evade that, right? Do you think Jean Pascal can remain as defensively responsible as Andre Ward did for 6-7 rounds without touching the canvas, without badly being hurt? I watched all the Pascal fights with Kovalev, right? And Pascal was hurt. He got hurt, then he survived a couple rounds, then he got hurt, and then he got hurt in the first one, and then it was a wrap shortly after that. But Kovalev was in there with something different. Let's keep going. I said Kovalev don't like that inside work. Rabbit punching needs room for his longer arms to get off shots. Once again, when it comes to boxing, let's talk about boxing. There happens to be this stigma with American fighters, oftentimes as African American fighters, where if you give them credit, people want to bring up homosexual innuendo. Oh, you're riding that person, or you have this fetish and boy crush and all. That's not boxing. Let's talk about boxing. I'm telling you what I see. 4 retweets, 16 likes. I'm telling you what I see in the ring. And that's the other thing. I don't know everybody's finances, but I highly suggest if you are a true boxing fan, if you can't make it to the fights, definitely for meaningful fights like this, order the pay-per-view. Beyond that, go to a live fight. You don't have to cover it as media and stuff, but just to go for the experience, see the energy of the crowd, see your favorite fighter, do that. It's worth it. And sometimes you can see different things. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. Some fights are very rough to judge live, and you're like, man, I gotta go back and watch it in the privacy of my own home, because the crowd will have you feeling type of ways, or people you're sitting next to. But everybody should do that. That's just a tidbit. But let's talk boxing. And what I noticed early on, you look at the times, 8:24, Kovalev is not a good inside fighter. And that's pretty indicative of the Eastern European style, with the exception of Lomachenko. Lomachenko is just a beast. I would say even the Usyk at cruiserweight, he shows little shades of that, but definitely Lomachenko. He's a little fidgety guy. He jumps in, and it's all based on your upbringing, your training in the game. You know what I mean? Russia, places like Ukraine, they have good boxing programs. That's why you see so much talent come. Klitschko and all the talent that's come from Russia. You know what I mean? The different guys. And the thing about it is, like I said, aside from Lomachenko, there's certain things that can be a little bit more systematic from what I've seen, that an American style can give problems to that, because a lot of the American champions are African American, and there's a different level. It's hard to explain, but it's a rhythmic energy and just different fluidity that some of those fighters have, like Terrence Crawford versus Victor Postol, another fight I covered live. It was similar, and it's similar to Ward Kovalev too, in the sense of slightly different approach and tactics. I'm not talking about game plan and all that. One was a stoppage, one wasn't. But it's similar in terms of you have an American fighter who has different wrinkles in their game. They can be slick when they need to. They can have a dog fight, firefight, whatever you want to call it. They can do those different things. And they have the ability to adjust and adapt to make an otherwise very good boxer look basic. And realistically, that's what Ward did. This was a surgical performance. Kovalev, to me, looked very basic. He was definitely, I seen he was trying to pace himself, but he was showing, it was like there weren't many shades of, like, when I watch Adrian Broner, he'll do some sequences where I call them decoy punches, where he'll do like a left and right downstairs, just little pitty, like pop, pop, and then he'll rip with the uppercut. With guys like Golovkin, Kovalev, and like I said, with the exception of like Lomachenko's the name that really stands out, a lot of the Eastern European styles, they're very good boxers, but they're not the fastest guys, they're not the most athletic guys, but they're very good. And you could see, like the Victor Postol, he was able to stop Lucas Matisse because of his style. So it's good enough to beat that. But when you have someone who's equally good at boxing but can mix it up, has athleticism, has rhythm and different stuff, it's a different puzzle for those fighters. And Sometimes, not always, because you know what I mean. A lot of these guys have power that we're talking about, the Golovkins and Kovalev, but a lot of times they can look a little bit more ordinary when they're in there with someone who can box themselves, fundamentally sound, defensively sound themselves. Plus, they have different speeds and athleticism. So I noticed this early on, as you can see by the timestamps. Kovalev doesn't like to fight on the inside. He's at best a mid-range to an outrange. And I'm not off the top of my head. I think he has longer arms than Ward. He looks like subtly taller, but it looks like he has longer arms to me. His arms look pretty long for his frame. And he needs room to create that trajectory to land that power, to get that full extension. Like guys like Jean Pascal, they don't know what to do to stay away from that. You know what I mean? They know more or less one mode. And Pascal's a good fighter, but it's different. You can't be in there with Kovalev in his wheelhouse for 12 rounds. That just doesn't make sense. At the end of his punches, that doesn't make sense. And certain guys like Canelo is another one. Now, I'm not saying Canelo fights like Kovalev, but I am saying if you stand in front of certain guys, you'll get chopped up. If you're on the end of all their punches, you'll get destroyed. Kovalev's one of those guys. He's a very good fighter. You'll get destroyed if you're constantly on the end of his punches. His power's no joke. He has good boxing ability, very, very good jab, right? And that's not where you want to be. Ward knew that. Ward, oh, I can't wait to get to the rumors and the truthful stuff. Well, this whole thing is truthful, but you guys know what I mean. I'm talking about good competitive fight so far, as I expected, right? And see, this is, I gotta expand on that. This is what people do. Ward Kovalev 1 was a tough fight. And people like myself who are objective and honest, I told you that. I said I had Ward winning, but at the same time, I told you why he won. And I told you it was competitive. And it wasn't really Kovalev did anything bad. The only thing you could say Kovalev really did bad, he showed heart, but the only thing I think he did bad was he faded drastically. And he didn't really have an answer for the body shots. And to me, this fight picked up kind of where the first fight left off, where the fresh Kovalev in the early rounds, he was very fresh, resistant, good jab, but he started to get broken down. This was really the 13th round for me, right? And just to be honest, while we're on the subject, I think Kovalev did better in the first fight, right? Because to me, the first fight reminded me of Adrian Broner versus Marcos Maidana, in the sense that there was an early point in the fight where one fighter got hurt. Ward says he wasn't hurt, but I think he was hurt. And if anything, he got dropped. And as a result, that could scramble your brain. If you're not really used to being on the canvas, and in round 2 you're in the canvas early, you know what I'm saying? Then that can play with your emotions a bit. And Ward had to find himself back in the fight because he did. I mean, 2 knockdowns. That would, people were saying it was a controversial fight with 1 knockdown. Imagine if he got knocked down again. You know what I mean? So whether he was hurt or not, it still plays on your psyche. You're not used to seeing that. People aren't used to seeing that. He said that. He said he didn't like seeing the look on his family's faces after it happened, even though he got up and smiled and shook it off or whatever. So I expected a competitive fight, right? But I really think Kovalev, I mean, I don't know what HBO was talking about, but I don't even think Kovalev did all that great. Like, don't get me wrong, the first couple of rounds were definitely competitive. There were some swing rounds. I think round 2 was a good round for Kovalev. But overall, I didn't see much adjustments and improvements from Kovalev. It looked like the same fighter. But in the first fight, again, the difference maker was he set an early tone and created a deficit for Andre Ward. So Ward was fighting from behind, which is something we're not used to seeing, right? And that's just honestly what I thought. But I thought Kovalev got tired in both fights. But since he had that momentum, and maybe possibly Ward even filled out to light heavyweight a little bit better, maybe that had something to do with it. But his game plan and everything was very different in this fight. I also said very good round 4 for Andre Ward. He picked Kovalev off with several nice shots that rocked his head back. Kovalev seemed frustrated, started rushing. To me, I'm telling y'all, I don't know everything about boxing. Let's be clear on that. But I do know my boxing. I feel I do, right? And again, you guys can listen to HBO commentary, Jim Lampley, and all that, but a lot of times they're going to lead you astray. And I'm not saying I'm better than them or anything. I'm just telling you, if judging by, I haven't even listened to everything they said, but people have sent me little bits and pieces of what they said, and it sounded like they were talking about like Kovalev was dominating, and that wasn't the case. But round 4 to me was a real defining moment in this fight, because I thought to that point it was Ward's best round, where he was picking off shots and he was picking Kovalev off, and he actually was rocking his head back and stuff like that. Go watch round 4. It was a very good round for Andre Ward. And I try to warn y'all, these are live tweets, just so you guys know. Look at the time, 8:31. This is, I'm breaking this, I'm watching this unfold as you guys are watching it. I'm just going over it now, but these were live in the flesh, and I was telling you what was happening. Round 5 is important for Kovalev. Reason I said that is because Ward had such a great round 4. I think up to that point, round 4 showed more separation for either fighter than any of the previous rounds. Round 4 was a good dominant round for Andre Ward. Now, the reason I said round 5 is important is because you're about to enter the midway point, right? The midway point of the fight, and you just let Ward get off on you and have such a successful round. He needs to slow that pace and slow that momentum down, if you will. And you guys see my next tweet. Round 5 was a turning point that Sergey Kovalev needed to win, and he didn't. Kovalev's momentum is slowly shifting to me. He's searching. I seen Kovalev get a bit more hasty. I seen Kovalev look like he was breathing hard, and I'm gonna try to see if I could put in the clip of him breathing hard. Right? It was right around this point, somewhere around here. But those weren't good signs to me, and I thought round 5 was a pivotal pendulum shift of a round, and Kovalev needed to capture it, and he didn't. Right? And it was kind of like, this is where I started to see things unravel. Very simple. 15 retweets, 15 likes. Like I said, the bully doesn't like to be bullied. Kovalev, not used to people standing their ground, immediately retaliating when he lands big. So what I mean by that is, see, again, who's breaking down fights? Anybody can say, oh, it was a low blow, low blow, low blow. That's all you guys say, low blow, but you're not breaking down the fight. But we're gonna get to the low blow stuff. Bully don't like to be bullied. Something I've always seen in boxing. When a guy's having his way and he's used to doing whatever he wants, or he's used to his power doing the trick, or guys curring and kind of tucking their tail when they feel the power, be it by fear, be it by their hurt, whatever the situation is, that adds to their ego. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, you know what I mean? But when you stand your ground, even this is not the greatest example, but it's the one I could think of. Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was running through guys. He hurt Buster Douglas, and I think Tyson definitely should have won because it was a long count. That's why I said it's not the greatest example, because Buster Douglas did have a long count. See, you got to know shit about boxing to know what that even means. But aside from that, Buster Douglas's mom had just died, like maybe a month before, a couple weeks before the fight, and he was dedicating the fight to her. So Tyson wasn't used to someone having that type of resilience to badly being hurt with a nasty. Watch the shot that knocked Buster Douglas down. It was a nasty shot, and he ate that, and he got back up, just like Daniel Jacobs did versus Golovkin, right? Guys aren't used to that. If you're Golovkin, if you're Kovalev, it's usually a once and done, or a TKO or KO, or something's coming soon after. I've watched Kovalev for years now. Watch his fight Blake Caparello, knocked him down. As soon as he had Blake Caparello in trouble, Blake Caparello was knocked out shortly after that. Watch the Cedric Agnew. He was doing all right for a couple rounds. Soon as Kovalev had him in danger, he was out of there soon after that. Ishmael Salak, when Kovalev fought him, he was out of there. He got hurt. He was out of there soon after. With Andre Ward, it's a different ball game. That championship level grit, that competitiveness, that perfectionist, whatever you want to call it, the bully don't like to get bullied. And what I said earlier in the tweets, which it was very early in the fight where I picked up on it, is Ward I told you guys. See, I did a live stream. Some of you guys, oh, but you didn't do a 7 reason. But I still, if you follow my channel, you know what I've said about this fight. And I told you the bully don't like to get bullied. I keep saying that. And Ward has dog in him. This is what I told y'all, and y'all didn't want to listen to me. He's a dog, and that's kind of the best term, or that's what we call it here in the Bay, and that's the best term for it. And that's the worst thing for a Kovalev, because now it's a matter of going tooth and nail, tit for tat. You know what I mean? And who has the better conditioning? Who has the better overall skill set? Who has better legs? It's Ward. So those things spell trouble for Sergey Kovalev, because you don't want to go tit for tat and someone's taking your best shots, and then not only are they taking your best shots, showing that championship medal, but they're taking your best shots and they're retaliating immediately. You know what I mean? And it's a fun thing to watch in boxing, where you see that, where someone like Floyd Mayweather, we know he's the master. What happens with Floyd is different. Like, he'll be fighting Canelo, and let's say he'll get off 2 punches and Canelo's head is just like popping up and the crowd's like, ooh. Then Canelo will try to counter him, but he'll miss because Floyd's defense is so good, right? So it doesn't work. But in this Kovalev Ward situation, with Ward, is he would get clipped with a very good, stern, strong jab or something, and then he will immediately jump on Kovalev and then fire a combination, a succession of punches that land. So I call it scene stealing, right? Where you overshadow, or you like you suppress what they did. Like, the crowd, you can hear it. Kovalev gets a shot, ooh, ooh, and you hear another immediate ooh, because Ward just got off on you. So he doesn't let you have your moment. It's like, you know what a good example is for all my music heads is Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift won whatever she won, whatever award, best new artist, best video, or whatever it was, and Kanye West jumped on the stage. Hey, Taylor Swift, I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the greatest videos of all time. That's a scene stealer. That was Taylor Swift's moment. That was her moment to shine. Thank her team, thank her mama, thank her daddy, stuff like that, and songwriters or whoever produced it. That was her time to shine, and Kanye took that. He jumped on stage, stole the mic, and said whatever he wanted to say about Beyonce. You know what I mean? That's what Ward does. Ward is Kanye in this situation, where you get off, you land some good stuff, and then he immediately jumps on you and lands his stuff. So it's like, you can't revel in that moment. You can't just be like, yeah, I got him. You can't enjoy it. You can't enjoy it at all, because he just got you. Now you're even. You know what I mean? And when it comes to scoring a boxing fight, you have to take that into consideration. You can't just marvel at what Kovalev hit him with a good jab, and then Ward jumps on him and hits him with 2 or 3 punches. You can't omit what Ward just did because Kovalev landed that first good shot. You know what I mean? Unless that first shot hurt him so bad. But again, if he was hurt so bad, then he wouldn't be able to jump on you like that. So again, I call it we'll call it the Taylor Swift Kanye West effect, where Ward, he doesn't let you shine. He doesn't, it's like, he keeps like outdoing, you know what I'm saying? Like he's like outdoing you. Imagine if every time, let's say you had a very competitive brother or sister or something, and every time you go back to show your parents, oh, look, Mom, I got a B+ on my report, right? And then your brother comes back and he's a better student and he's like, I got an A+. Now that makes your B+ look worse, because now he got a higher grade than you. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to be, that's what competition is. You know what I mean? And it's like you're constantly trying to outdo. Ward is a competitive person, so that's what I've seen. And that immediate retaliation, that's championship stuff that you can't really teach. Kovalev, it's not like he doesn't have power. So you have to be pre-programmed to be able to even withstand his shot and then immediately not hesitate. You know what I mean? Like, say, they said, what 50 Cent say? Any hesitation to get you killed, you have to be, that's something you can't really teach, because most guys, if they get hit with something, I can't say most, but a lot of people, if they get hit with something, they don't immediately, if they get hit with a clean, good shot, they regroup, try to reset, you know what I mean? Take a lap, a little bit of space, move around the ring, or you know what I'm saying, like throw a jab out or something. They don't just jump on you. That's again something he's obviously been doing, and that's something you can't teach. And like I said, the bully does not like to get bullied. Now, one thing I was very impressed with for this particular fight, Ward's defense and timing look better. And I said that Ward's defense looks good, timing good. Kovalev seems rushed in his attack, and I think this was a credit to him being tired. He started getting tired, getting wore out by the body shots. Now, the thing with Andre Ward, I think he actually went to the body more completely in the first fight, but that was out of necessity. This, he mixed it up a lot, and he was incorporating different things, not just standing in front of Kovalev. He used some movement, made Kovalev chase him, stood his ground in spots. Kovalev landed a good shot, jumped on him. So his attack overall was more mixed, but I think he had more of a sustained body attack in the first fight. But it didn't matter because the overall energy that Kovalev had to use in this rematch, like with everything that Ward was doing, all the different tools and different shades of his fight game that he showed, he didn't need a sustained body attack with nothing but, you know what I mean, or predominantly body shots, you know what I mean, because he mixed it up a lot better and his timing looked way better, and I think his defense was sharper. And again, I really feel, the more I think about it, is Ward Kovalev, it would have played out completely different had it not been for that early knockdown. And then credit to Kovalev because he created that. But I think that set a tone where Ward had to be cautious. I mean, look at Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia. That's another fight that kind of reminds me of that. Danny Garcia got jumped on by Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is not it's not like he's not a sharp puncher or hard puncher, and that set a tone. And it took rounds for Danny Garcia to get into a rhythm to even want to like let go and throw, you know what I mean? So credit to Kovalev in that first fight for creating that opening, or seeing the opening and taking it. And I says Kovalev seems to be trying to prove he can fight on the inside, but it looks sloppy. Again, listen to HBO, listen to what I'm saying, look at the timestamps. I don't know what Kovalev, I think he was saying something in the build-up that he had been working on his inside fight game. It didn't look good to me. It looked sloppy, and the fact that he was growing tired, his body was wearing down from what Ward was doing, jumping on him, and not being a successful bully. That's what I'm going to call it, being a successful bully. It's one thing to be a bully. If you're a bully and it's just working, then you the man, you winning, right? They cower down. But when someone's not cowering down and they're fighting back, it's a different story. And Ward was dumping to them guts. He was suppressing Kovalev's momentum. He was kind of using Kovalev's momentum against him. Kovalev would come forward, and it started getting really intense. So my tweets kind of went off, and this is when it ended. And I said, "Told y'all you don't know shit about boxing." And shout out to my brother. He said, "Preach, bro, SOG." So those were as far as the tweets go. That's the tweets. We still got some more stuff to cover in this particular video. Son of excuses, definitely, and we're gonna get into that type of stuff. Kathy Duva yells at booing crowd, tells them to shut up. Very classless. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with Kathy Duva, but I call a spade, and I thought that was in poor taste, because first of all, you can't lash out on a whole crowd. I don't know who was there. Was a lot of people in that room. You don't know who's saying what. You know what I mean? It's just, you just hear commotion from the peanut gallery. So pretty professional to let a crowd get under your skin that much, to the point where you're gonna lash out on everyone, scold everybody, and tell people, "Are you journalists? Then shut up." What? Then someone, Alejandro, said, "You said it. Bullies don't like to get bullied. Kovalev is a fucking crybaby, yo." Yeah, I told you, man, that bullies don't like to get bullied. That's what it is. And when someone stands their ground, it's kind of a different fight. You know what I mean? People, you're not really respecting that. Now, look at this body shot. Look to the left. See, it happens so fast. This body shot, people don't understand. You have to know boxing. That hurt. See, man, it's so quick. Look, hit him upstairs. He's creating space. See, okay. Now let's talk about let's talk about boxing. I'm gonna continue with this video. Why is Kovalev? Look at his body language right here. People keep talking about a low blow. Kovalev looks like a ram or like an animal. The way his posture. That is not good for a fighter. Look at Ward's stance. He has both feet planted. Obviously, he has to keep his balance because he's traveling backward, and Kovalev is spilling over and doubling over. But look at Kovalev. Look at his head is where Ward's chest is, and Kovalev is the taller man. You have to, come on, man. That's not normal. Look at that posture. Look at Tony Weeks. Look at how upright. Kovalev's taller than Weeks, if I'm not mistaken. And look how upright he is. Look how upright he is. And look at Kovalev spilling over. That, I mean, the man was, he had no tank. Look, he got hit in the head again. He's charging. And then watch Ward. Okay, look at Ward's hand. Cocked back. Kovalev's, his left glove is so low, and he's just spilling over from forward progress. And look at Ward's glove. Where do you think that glove is going to hit? Right there in the body. That's what hurt him. Look at Kovalev's face after that body shot. And no, he's a real piece of shit. Like, that didn't... Look at that body shot. Y'all keep talking about low blows. What about that? You don't think that hurt him? On top of the right that landed to end the fight? Look at his face. Look at his face. I mean, obviously that didn't feel good to him. Crazy. We're going to continue this video.